Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. I think we can say good afternoon. We are 5 minutes afternoon. So thank you so much for inviting me here. I'm very happy to be here. I want to thank you also my Santander InnoVentures team, which is our investment fund, who organized all this, and they let me stranded in the rain for half an hour, but I still love them. So yes, we should have a presentation here, actually. All right, what I'm going to tell you about today, while the presentation comes up, it's about how we believe that there is a new way of doing financial services, and it's what we call Fintech 2.0. So, next. So, banks, I mean, you will have to bear the boring banker for 10 minutes or so. But banks, in the end, we are not so boring. If we think about financial innovation, banks have been doing this for a long time, no? In this slide, you can see we've been doing this for about more than 50 years. And actually, it's way more. I couldn't find in the internet when the piggy bank was invented, no? But if you look at the history, banks have been developing new apps, new systems, things you can pay with, and they've been doing this for a long time, no? And we tend to think that banks are not able to innovate, but if you look at history, there are many things, no? And you can see there's some examples. You have there how we started doing banking through the internet. You have there WAP banking. I don't know if any of you tried that one. It was hopeless, but still we thought it was going to be the new thing, the new way to bank, no? And that has ended up in app banking, no? Or mobile banking, which all of us do every day. So in the end, banks have been doing this for a long time now. And now, these days, we are seeing a lot of new players coming into many spaces where banks were before. And you have here a big map, no? But there are things in personal finance where you can see players helping you understand how your money is moving around. You have things in payments. We all love payments. Payments get very emotional. We want to pay with the mobile. We want to pay with the watch, with bracelets. We will be paying with our minds at some point, and that will be very dangerous, by the way. But it's something where people get very emotional, and there are many, many players there in payments. Lending, we are seeing new ways of lending. Many new players, some of them we are teaming up with, no? The banking core, the infrastructure, those were some things where people thought banks, that was our natural space. No, well, there are other players doing things there, no? And we will see how that evolves. In compliance, security within compliance, no? That's really important. Wealth. On the wealth space, there are also many solutions. These I'm less familiar. I've never managed to save too much, but they are there, no? So, what happens here? We are having all these innovations, but for us, we believe that the important thing is to understand what customers want. And here I have it's a joke actually, but I hope you like it. You remember those watches that were around in the 80s? If you're not too old, you probably had one of those. It was the Transformer watch, no? And the Transformer watch was something that was very popular. For those of you who didn't know it, it was a watch that you can take off that square part in the middle and build a robot. It was fantastic, no? And if you don't understand what customers want when you are innovating, you might find this thing, no? So we are benchmarking it with a smartwatch, no? Does it give the time? It does, both of them. Battery life. In the smartwatch, one day, if you're lucky, no? The Transformer watch, my son found mine the other day, and it's still working from 20 years ago. So if you're worried about battery life, the Transformer watch is much better, no? And if customers are worried about it transforming into a robot, definitely the Transformer watch is better. So you have to be careful on what you innovate about, because you might end up that the Transformer watch was actually better in the 80s, no? Well, this is just a joke. I love my smartwatch. But what is very important is that we give all of this some coherence, and that in the end, we build things around the customer. We understand what the customers want, and we are able to put all of these innovations together. And we deliver things that are actually valued by our customers, in this case in financial services. And we believe banks can be the glue for all this innovation. So that's why we believe that teaming up with many of these players that you see around and banks, you can deliver very good value propositions to our customers, no? And this is what we call Fintech 2.0. I remember when we started doing this, and we didn't call it Fintech 2.0 by then, but we started 3 or 4 years ago meeting a lot of these innovators when I was in London, actually in Santander in UK. And the first thing they told us was, well, thank you very much for meeting with us. We are very surprised you banks want to meet with us. And I always told them the same. Well, here we are human beings, and we also need help to know where we are going in this industry, no? So that started as a surprise for all of these guys, but the message we have here is that we believe that partnering with them, we can build greater things, and this is what we call Fintech 2.0. And we believe it's actually a very good partnership, because you get from one side, from the innovators, the agility, the risk-taking that we sometimes don't want to do, the disruptive mindset, and from the banks, you get a lot of customer relationships. In Santander, we have about 100 million customers. You get the products we have. We normally have a very robust infrastructure that needs to evolve and do other things, but that is very robust, etc. So we believe Fintech 2.0 is actually a very productive way of doing this all together, no? And there are many examples. And by doing this, banks continue. I mean, that picture that I drew in the beginning, it's going on. And we have many innovations. You have banks building with partners applications to control your spend. You have banks building with partners new mobile apps with identification methods. You have a lot of things, and normally there are some partners that are working with the banks, no? I have a little video to show you one of these things that we are doing, which is very interesting. So, very interesting, no? The new good old-fashioned kitty. So, if I ask you, probably you would say, this doesn't look like a bank. But in the end, it's the same kind of services that banks have been doing for a long time, done in a very different way. And to do that, we partnered with some people to develop the front, with some people to develop the platform that sits underneath. So this is not sitting on our normal systems. But again, it's Fintech 2.0. It's a new way of developing new propositions, no? And for this, we need to build the platforms. I mean, normally, in the way we are engineered as old-fashioned banks sometimes, we are not built to allow this to happen, no? And here are some examples of things that banks can do and that we are doing. The first one is we have an online bank called Open Bank that it's operating in Spain at the moment only, but it's a fully fledged digital bank in which we can test and we can run all these concepts and do it in an agile way and in a different way. This is run by my friend Jose Maria Fuster, who is somewhere here. I can see him. But there you go. And they are doing fantastic things here, and you will see more about this. No? We have Santander Innoventures, which is our fintech fund, and it's investing in fantastic companies. We are learning a lot. We are supporting these companies, and the important thing, again, is not the capital we give these companies. Capital is everywhere. The important thing is that we bring our customers, we bring our experience, we bring our scale, and they bring their innovations, and together we can build bigger things together. No? We also have Syntheo, which is it's an incubator where we can build concepts from scratch, and we are working on some other things, pitch days, a lot of work on distributed ledger. We are working on an open challenge on the cryptocurrencies space. But the message is that you have to build the platforms for Fintech 2.0 to emerge somehow. No? So with this, how does the future look like? Well, the first concept that I wanted to say here is that what we are seeing in the digital space is a lot of players. Here there are some examples only of fantastic companies that you see them jumping into some spaces that are not their natural space. So you see Amazon doing drones, or it's not here, but you see Apple announcing they're going to build cars. And I mean, if you think about it, if one of these digital companies would come up one day and say, I'm going to build a car, we should all be completely scared. We should all be thinking, what? I mean, the Mercedes guys have been building cars for hundreds of years, and they do it very well. So how come a new company coming from the technology world is going to build a car? That should be the normal reaction, no? But in the end, we all read the news, and we think, ooh, this car is going to be cool. I'm going to buy it if I can. No? So, and that's, if you think about it, that's strange. And why is that? Well, I think it's because, first, these guys all are very smart. And they are normally deliver things that are well done, well engineered. And that creates an effect of trust on these companies. It creates very powerful brands. And that makes that when they announce these kind of things, there are big expectations, no? Well, if we think about banks in this space, the first thing is that, like it or not, think about it, but banks are with you through your whole life. I mean, it might not be the same bank, and you might be very angry with your bank and jump from one bank to another, but in the end, they are with you when you open your first account, when you need your first mortgage, when you're starting your business somehow. They help you manage your wealth, hopefully, and they help you through retirement. So you have banks going with you through all your life, no? And what we believe that Fintech 2.0 is going to create is that in the same way in the internet, we are talking now about the Internet of Things, we believe that we can have this concept of the Fintech of Things. And instead of you, I mean, like in the internet, before the internet was, I'm going to my room, I sit down, and I'm going into the internet. Today, you have it all around you. You have it on your watch, you have it in your phone, you go to some place and you log into a screen. So it's all around you all the time. And with the banks, what we believe is that something similar will happen, no? And there are many, and this is what we call the Fintech of Things. We didn't come up with a better name yet. There are many, but we will. There are many examples of this, no? So connected vehicles in which they drive alone and you can be checking your banking while the car is driving. When you buy a house through a portal and at some point you can actually link to your bank and do your mortgage all together. The travel industry can be very linked to banking as well. You can plan your trip, change your currency, finance your trip, etc., etc. So we believe that if we do this well, and if we bring together all this innovation, in the end we're going to have, with the Internet of Things, a Fintech of Things. And the way we are doing it, to conclude, we have a formula with 4 or 5 ingredients. No? The first one is that we believe that the purpose of a bank, and this is what we say is the purpose of Santander, is to help people and businesses prosper. And everything that we do needs to be aligned with that. It might be the first derivative, the second derivative, the third derivative, but in the end we have to help people. The second point is we have to build this around the relationship with the customer, the life of the customer, what customers want. We cannot go on, I'm going to innovate in here, innovate in there. No, we have to think about it in a holistic way. No? The third thing that I think is going to happen in the future of banking is what we call A cubed. So it's anytime, anyhow, anywhere. It's the Fintech of Things. It's going to be all around you, and we have to create the mechanisms for this to happen. Fourth, we believe it has to be built in an open and collaborative space with banks and fintechs delivering this whole proposition. And finally, and this is what we say we want to be, it needs to be simple, it needs to be personal, and it needs to be fair. These 3 words are what we believe is going to define our proposition Santander in the future. So I hope you found it helpful, and thank you very much.